Welcome back to Resettled and Rising. I'm your host, Shadokht, and today's guest is someone whose journey reflects exactly what Resettled and Rising is all about. 5 years ago, she left Afghanistan in pursuit of a dream that many of us share, the opportunity to continue her education and build a future through hard work and determination. Today, she's an attorney practicing civil and immigration litigation in the United States, helping navigate complex legal systems while carrying with her the experiences of being an Afghan woman who started over in a new country. Salam Shakila, welcome to my podcast.
Salam, Shahdokht Aziz. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so glad to be here and share my story with your audience. And I hope that this is an inspiring story for everyone that's listening.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm definitely sure that this is going to be an inspiring story. Today's conversation will explore both your personal journey behind the professional success and what it means to serve immigrant communities as an attorney. And I'm truly looking forward to hearing your story and sharing it with our listeners. How are you doing today?
I'm good, doing great. It was a busy day at work today. I had multiple filing deadlines today, but I'm doing great so far.
That's perfect to hear. By the end of this conversation, I want you to think about one question that I ask all my guests. I will come back to this question at the very end of the podcast also. If someone wrote a book about you, what would the title be? So throughout the conversations, maybe you'll reflect back on your journey, and at the end, let me know what would someone, if they wrote a book about you, what would they title it?
Okay, sure. I'll think about it.
Perfect. So to those of us who don't know who Shakila Mohammadi is, can you tell us about yourself and your life before coming to the United States and the journeys behind it?
Of course. So I was born in a small town in Ghazni province, Malestan. And when I was 10, my family moved to Kabul city because my parents wanted me and my siblings to continue our education in a better school in Kabul. So I started school in Marifat High School, and that was the beginning of my journey, and that was the place that shaped Shakila. I studied at Marifat High School, and then I started my bachelor's at American University of Afghanistan in 2018, and I chose to study law because I was so angry about not having a spot in a very male-dominated field back at the time. So I wanted to become a judge, and everyone was telling me that it's impossible for women in Afghanistan at that time to become a judge, and especially practice in a legal field. So at the beginning, it was that anger that made me study law at the American University of Afghanistan. But of course, now the legal field has more meaning to me. And I started my bachelor's at American University of Afghanistan in 2018, and I was also an intern in Ministry of Industry and Commerce. Life was good. Everything was on plan. But then in 2021, after Taliban came, I was forced to leave the country.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all those journeys that you had taken in Afghanistan throughout your education. And you briefly mentioned you were there until Afghanistan fell, Kabul fell. Where did life take you afterwards, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, sure. In 2021, after Taliban came, 2 months later, I moved to Iraq, Kurdistan, Suleimania, and there I was able to continue my education online at American University of Iraq in Suleimania, and I'm so glad, I'm so happy that I had that opportunity. I was studying online there, and I graduated from American University of Afghanistan in 2022. After completing my degree in Iraq, I got a scholarship, University of Illinois in Champaign, and in 2023 I moved to US.
Oh, that's great. That's quite a journey. I have had some friends who were in Iraq also, and the same situation. Once Kabul fell, they were moved there to continue their education. How was life there? I'm sure it was different, but how would you describe it in terms of being away from your family? And were there friends of yours who you could rely on? How was life in general?
Well, this was for me. This was the first time that I was traveling without my family, especially my parents. So it was definitely a difficult journey in the beginning. I was very new to the environment, and I was really feeling homesick in the beginning. But I managed to make some really good friends in Iraq, and also I'm really grateful for the Kurdish people in Iraq. They were so kind and hospitable, and I really felt at home in Kurdistan, and I made really good friends there, and I had very good professors at university too. So in the beginning it was difficult, but it got better as I learned more about the city, and also as I made new friends.
That's great. Yeah, well, most of us left our country, our families, and then due to different reasons, and feeling homesick is the thing that all of us have in common, feeling like missing our families, our country. But I'm glad you could find friends who you could rely on and mitigate that feeling a little bit. So you mentioned that you started at your bachelor's of law in 2018. Is that correct?
Yes, 2018.
Yes. And then you moved to Iraq, and then you got this scholarship. You came to the US, and LLM was the major that you went for.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, LLM, it's Masters of Law. So I got my bachelor's from American University of Afghanistan, and then my Masters of Law here at the University of Illinois.
How was it pursuing an LLM in the United States as an international student, besides being an international student, as a refugee? I believe you came as a refugee also, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, I came as a refugee and I came as a student, so sometimes it's very confusing for people here. They ask me, are you a student or are you a refugee? And I'm like, I'm both. So the initial challenges, honestly, I have to start with how different the law school system and culture here is in US, and the fact that the legal system is also different than the legal system in Afghanistan makes it more difficult to study law here. So when I got here, I immediately started my classes. So I had no time to settle down. And so it was very challenging to learn how the law school system and culture work here, learn the class system, and learn about the professors' expectations, because it's very different than what we had back in Afghanistan. And on top of that, another challenge was to, at the same time, handle the refugee settlement paperwork. I think it got almost 2 months for me to complete that. Like, there were multiple interviews.
Wow.
And medical appointments, so many different appointments that I forgot now, but I think it took me like almost 2 months to complete all that. So I was a full-time student, but I was a full-time refugee dealing with all those paperworks too. And on top of that, I had to learn how to network here because I came here and I knew no one, and the city was new. Everyone was new, so I had to work on my networking and find my own people. So that took a while for me, and on top of that, I had to look for jobs because
Yes.
here in the United States, I'm sure you know, you cannot survive without having a job
True.
and
Yes.
income. So I think in those like the beginning of 2023, I was a full-time student, I was a refugee, I was a full-time employee, and a brand new person here that had to find her way.
Wow, you had a lot on your plate. You're right about everything you said. I've gone through it personally. I came as a refugee and a full-time student also. So, right when we came, the classes started, and about the resettlement procedures, absolutely agree. They take a long time to go through all the medical documentations, to go through all these other public benefit documentations and applications that that takes a while and a lot of our energies. And honestly, since the day I have come to the US, I'm not sure about you, but I've heard this from all my other friends also. It hasn't been a day where I don't have something to do. Like every day there is something you have to do, something you have to fulfill, an application you have to submit. Life is just running here. It's not quiet.
Yeah,
So, being a full-time student for you, a full-time employee, finding a job again, yes, you're right, it's very difficult, and it's necessary for living in the US. Like you cannot survive if you don't have a job, unfortunately. So that I agree, and I'm so proud that you went through all of that, and you rose above. So tell me, what kept you motivated? You had everything on your plate, you had everything to do, and what kept you motivated during those difficult moments and a lot of works to do?
To answer your question, I think I have to divide my answer in two parts. First, like what motivated me, and second, who supported me, because that's really important too.
Yes.
So, what motivated me basically was my own feeling of dedication and commitment to education. I mean, that's the whole reason that I left Afghanistan, because Taliban came and I was no longer able to continue my education, and I lost my identity as a woman in Afghanistan. So during those hard times, I was always going back to why I came here and the reason. So the dedication to education kept me moving. And also, I strongly believe in empowerment through education. And I think that for me, especially, education has never been like about obtaining a degree. Education, it was more than a degree. It was independence for me. It was empowerment, and it was dignity for me. And coming to who supported me, because I really want to talk about it. It's important for me. I think my parents, because my dad was forced to leave country in a very young age to provide for his family. He was refugee to Iran, Pakistan, and multiple other countries his whole life. And now my mother is also a refugee in a third country. So looking at my parents, how they survive the refugee life and they keep going, that motivated me to stay strong and find my way here in the US. I always think that if they did it, I have to do it too.
Yeah, you're right, and that's great. Thank you for answering that. It's very sad that our parents were refugees, and they were forced to leave their country to rebuild life, and then again their children have also become refugees, and that's just very sad for me because two generations or even more have lost their country. They are in other countries without their families most of the time, and they've lost at some point their identity and the sense of self. And to know that we are still struggling and coming above and trying our best is the idea behind this podcast, to share that we might be refugees, we might have gone through very difficult routes, but it didn't stop us, right? It didn't stop us. It kept us motivated. Our families supported us, and that's what matters. And I'm so proud and happy that you are able to go through all those struggles that you mentioned and then be motivated also to do it, just because if our parents did it, we should do it too, and we can do it. So, walk us through your professional journey since coming to the US. You mentioned that you had a full time job at the beginning, even when you arrived. And now that you are an attorney, walk us through all that, and how did you land to this career that you have right now?
Sure. So I started my master's degree in 2023. My first job, full-time job, was catering, and it was so hard at that time to do it, but I had no other choice. And I was studying most of the time and also working. And I graduated in 2024 and immediately started doing preparing for the bar exam. So here in the US, if you want to practice law, you have to be licensed in a state. And to be licensed, you have to take an exam. It's called the bar exam. And for international students, you are eligible to take the bar exam in limited states. At a time, it was California, New York, Ohio, and one more state that I forgot the name. But so I chose New York, and for international students, it takes about 7 months just to become eligible to take the bar exam. So they will do all this background check and everything, and then after 7 months they will tell you if you are able to take the bar or not. So it was a very long and devastating process for me. I had to wait for answers for multiple months, and I was not sure if I was eligible, because you never know what will go wrong here. But I'm so happy that after 7 months of evaluation, finally they told me that I was eligible to take the bar exam. And that was when I started my preparation for the bar. At the time, I was working as a law clerk in a law firm too. So I was studying for the bar and I was working too. And after 4 months, I took the bar exam and I passed it in my first try, which I'm
Wow.
so proud of myself for that. Because to tell you about a little bit background about New York bar, it's the most competitive bar exam here in the United States, and it's you as international students, you are not competing only with international students. You are competing with US students who went to law school for 3 years here. So it's a very competitive exam, and it's very difficult to pass it in first try, and I'm so happy that I did it. And that was the beginning of my career here as an attorney.
Wow, I'm so proud of you. I'm so inspired, and that's a huge achievement. Passing bar exam at the first try, it's very big. I'm sure many who know how difficult it is, they know how big of an achievement it is for you, and I'm so glad that you were able to do that. And again, becoming licensed in the US is a huge achievement. It's not like easy at all. I've heard a lot of scary stories about how bar exam is difficult, and how, I mean, the process of just getting to law school, studying law school, the legal studies, that in itself is a whole difficult process, and to go to the bar, it's completely another. So kudos to you. I'm so impressed and inspired, honestly. So what or how did it feel the day that you officially became an attorney, the day that you officially heard the news and you were able to process that you had become an attorney? How did it feel?
Well, I was expecting it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I studied so hard. Like, I was studying maybe over 18 hours per day.
Wow.
I was basically living in the library. So I was expecting to pass, but of course, I was so happy when I heard about it, and it was a really powerful moment for me because there are times that you doubt yourself and you ask a lot of questions, like, for example, whether I fit in this system. That was one of the questions that I was asking myself when I started my master's degree here, because the legal system was so different, and I kept asking myself, am I able to do this? Can I represent someone here in the United States as his or her attorney? So when I passed the bar, it was a sign for me that, yeah, I can fit in this legal system, and I can represent clients with due diligence that is required as an attorney. So it was a powerful moment. It was a moment of proof that I could practice as an attorney here in the U.S.
Exactly. Powerful is exactly the correct word to describe that feeling. I feel powerful even hearing about it, you know? So I can only imagine how powerful you might have seen or felt, which is truly what you deserved. And yeah, thanks for sharing that. You mentioned a little about doubting yourself, and I've talked with the other guests. I've gone through this, which is a very common feeling that we as refugees have, or anyone who goes to a new community or a new country, like completely different from your own, like United States. You always doubt yourself. You always feel like you maybe know little or know less than others who have been here. But most of the time, we undermine our abilities, the determination and resilience that we have. That can shift our doubting or being skeptical about ourselves. So tell me again, how did you fight that urge, or how did you go against that feeling of doubting yourself?
I think throughout my journey, I learned that believing in yourself and having self-confidence, it's a skill. Like, it's not something that you're born with. You have to practice it every day.
Exactly.
So, and how you can practice it is when you learn new things and you gain the knowledge that you need in your field. So, of course, there are days that I doubt myself, but then again, I go back to how much potential I have, and then how far I came. So that in itself give me a self-confidence that I need to go forward. So, but basically, I think believing in yourself is a skill that you can practice every day, and you have to invest in your skills and your knowledge. So if you expect to start a new life in a completely new country, you cannot do it with your old beliefs and skills and knowledge. You have to, like, every day you have to invest in yourself to learn new things, new skills, and that helps you to get that self-confidence that you need. And another thing that helped me, and I think it's a very nice culture here in the US that we don't have it in Afghanistan, or maybe we have. I'm not aware of it, but it's seeking for advice and help. Because I mean, I have to still work on it myself. But here in US, it's really interesting to know that there are so many good people out there that are ready to help you if you share your problem. So that's one of the things that I didn't do in the beginning because we came from a different background, and in Afghanistan, personally, I was not encouraged to share my problems and seek for help. It's considered as a weakness in Afghanistan, but here you can solve so many problems just by asking one simple question from people who are available to help you. So I think throughout my journey, I had really good mentors at work and my professors in law school that really helped me get through things that I couldn't do it myself. So I think seeking for advice and asking for help also really help you to understand your potentials and solve your problems.
Yeah, you're right. One thing you said that was in my mind throughout the whole answer that you're giving is believing in yourself, and the self-confidence is a skill that you have to practice. And I that is the most beautiful way to put it. Like exactly what you said. You have to practice on it every day in order to be it. So if you want to be confident, like be confident every day. You can't just think about it. You have to act upon it. So it's a skill you have to practice. Thank you for sharing that. And also you said you have to be learning new things and having, I would say in a way, having an open mind to accepting, or even if not accepting, to acknowledging new things, to knowing that these things, if they are against our beliefs or values, they still exist. And if we want to coexist, we have to acknowledge new things. And that's great. We always have to have an open mind if we want to improve ourselves and excel in life. And coming back to having people here who are available to help is true. That's 100% true. And you, at the beginning, you mentioned something about networking. That is how you find mentors or people you can trust or ask questions through networking. You meet them, you learn about them, you connect with them, and then when the time comes, you exchange ideas or even go for guidance, which is great, which is good to have network in the US. And again, when you mentioned that you weren't encouraged in Afghanistan, I can completely resonate, because networking was not seen as a good thing in Afghanistan. It was seen as a completely wrong thing. Not even bad. It was wrong to do something like that. So coming to the US, looking at everyone being connected through networks and understanding the value of networking, that is a huge thing. And I hope anyone who is struggling could have an open mind to connecting with people and networking more, because those are the ones who will help you when you're stuck in some place of your life.
And it's also about the, like, we've always been told to do everything alone. And if you can't do something alone, it means you're weak. That's not true. And I learned that when I came here in US. It's a great idea to have mentors who are guiding you and supporting you throughout the process. And if you can't do something alone, it doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you need guidance to find your way.
True, you're right. If you're doing something alone, yes, there is a tag of weakness, but we know we are strong. But if we are doing it in a group or together with someone else, if we're getting a guidance, it just means we become stronger. So that's a plus point for us. You focus today on immigration litigation, as I've gathered from your bio. What drew you to this area of law? Why immigration law?
Well, I started practicing civil litigation, and recently I also started practicing immigration litigation, mostly asylum cases. And the reason is because I am an immigrant myself, and I share this feeling of empathy with all my clients, and I feel like my background helps me understand my clients better, and they trust me better because they know that I have gone through this process myself, and I can understand them well, which is very important in immigration law. You have to understand your clients and their life to be able to represent them. So another reason is I really want to give back to the community. I came here as a refugee, and I had a chance to complete my education and then become an attorney. And I think now it's time to give back and help all other refugees that are coming here and they have, little access to legal support and legal representation. So I think it's my duty to give back and help refugees.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that, to have that feeling of empathy and understanding coming from that background. It's very helpful to succeed in your current career. That's great. So if you could change one thing now that you're working with all your clients in the area of your work, if you could change one thing about refugees, or how refugees and immigrants are viewed in the US, what would it be?
That's a very interesting question. I think I truly believe that every refugee that comes to the United States, there is talent, there is dreams, and there is ambitions behind every refugee. So I really hope that U.S. society sees that and truly believes in the talent and dreams of refugees. I also have a very beautiful quote from Banafsha Tahirian. It was in one of her speeches that she says, هیچ مهاجری فعل هجرت را یکسان صرف نمی کند، هر کدام به امیدی ترک وطن کردن. I will leave the translation to your audience, but basically what I mean is that every refugee leaves their country with a hope, with a dream here. And I really hope that U.S. society sees that hope and dream and help refugees.
That's powerful. Thank you so much for saying that. And I loved what you said in Persian. It's beautiful. Yeah, thank you for leaving that translation to my audience. I can also maybe put a subtitle for it, but I'm pretty sure my audience is mostly Afghan, so they definitely understand this and completely agree with what you're saying. What message would you give to young Afghan women who dream of becoming lawyers or entering other professional fields? What would your message be to them?
To be honest with you, it's really hard to um, give a practical advice to especially young women who are inside Afghanistan. Because as you know, they are going through so much that sometimes I don't even see myself in a position to give an advice. I'm not sure if anyone is feeling the same way, but it's just I feel so confused, upset, mad. I don't know how to explain this feeling, but sometimes it just takes away from me the authority to give an advice. But anyway, I think one piece of advice that I can leave is that the current situation never defines their ultimate goals and dreams. So when Taliban came in 2021, I lost my internship in Ministry of Industry and Commerce, and also the university was closed. So it was basically that like everything stopped and ended for me. But opportunities showed up, and I think I was brave enough to take those opportunities and change it to something meaningful. So I think the advice that I have is that if you have that opportunity, I want young Afghan women to be brave enough to take it and change it to something meaningful, and also never lose hope.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I agree. There is a lot going on in Afghanistan that even if we can give practical advice, it won't be feasible to do it. So never lose hope. And if there are any opportunities, which we hope and pray there will be, then take it and use that opportunities as best as you can. If your younger self could see where you are today, what do you think she would say?
I think she would say, wow, you really become an independent woman.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was one of my biggest dreams when I was in high school. And I was always talking about being independent and having my own thing and being ambitious and following my dreams. And everyone at home was so sick of me. So now I think if she looks at me, I think she will say, wow, you really became the woman that you wanted to be.
That's amazing. It's always for us who have been building our lives throughout different countries, throughout different situations. It's always that little child of us that we want to pursue the dreams of that little child, and it's very powerful to know that that little child is probably happy now and is proud of us. So now I want to come back. I have a lot of things. I'm pretty sure all my audience will as well. But to sum it up, everything, because I don't want to take much of your time. If someone wrote a book about you, what would the title be?
I forgot that you told me to think about it in the beginning. Okay, I think the title would be something like simple, only one word, but very meaningful, that sums up my journey. So I think it would be The Border.
The Border?
Yes.
Can you explain that? That's very interesting.
It's because I crossed, I don't know, 3-4 borders until I arrived to US. And I think that's honestly the story of every refugee right now. They are crossing borders with hope and dreams for a better life. And that's what I hoped and dreamed of too. So I think The Border will very beautifully summarized my journey.
Wow. I've never thought about a phrase that deep, the border. That clearly explains it right now. Thank you so much for sharing that, Shakila. It's really a unique way of putting it. All of us have passed different borders, and you putting it that way, it completely explains and makes sense to me now. Shakila Mohammadi, the border.
Yeah. And also I think this term is very meaningful for me because I'm living with it every day. Like when you become a refugee, it's not like you leave your country behind. You bring it with you, and you live with it every day. And so I live in different borders every day. I live in Afghanistan border. I live in Turkhan border. I live in border between Qatar and Iraq. I live in border between Iraq until I got to Turkey, Istanbul, and then I live in borders of US. So it's something that I live with every day, and I think it's something that every refugee lives with it every day, and we carry it on our shoulders every day. So that's why I chose that.
That's really powerful. Thanks for the explanation behind that. And you have had a great journey, full of struggles, but definitely full of amazing achievements. And I'm glad that I had you with me today to learn more about you, about your background, your educational, your career, everything you've gone through to become the woman you are today. And it was an honor to have you with me, Shakila. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch. My audiences can get in contact or connect with you because you are such an asset to all of us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope that your audience takes away a meaningful message from my story. And of course, they can contact me if they have any questions.
As I said, you're an asset, and you are a great representative for all of us in the immigration realm of the US. So happy to have you in my circle, in my list of friends and connections. And definitely my audience throughout this conversation have a lot to take out from this conversation today. So thanks for giving us your time, Shakila.
Of course, thank you for having me.